Have you ever felt left behind by a moment that once felt promised to you? Have you ever watched someone walk away, not with anger, not with closure, but with silence so heavy it echoed louder than words? You stood there, heart in your hands, asking the sky questions only your soul could form. Was I not enough? Why did it feel so right and yet end so wrong? Why would Allah allow me to feel something so deep, only to remove it? We ask these questions because we're human. And to be human is to ache for meaning in our wounds, to search for divine purpose in earthly confusion. But what if the answer isn't in the pain you felt, but in the pain you were spared? What if Allah, in His mercy, removed someone, not to punish you, but to protect you? The path you were never meant to walk. Not every path is yours to tread. Not every soul is meant to journey beside you. Sometimes the heartbreak is not about losing love, but about being spared from the consequences of keeping it. You may think they were the one. You may believe your du'as were leading you to them. But what if their destiny would lead them through storms that your heart couldn't survive? Not because you're weak, but because you were never meant to walk that path. Your soul was created with a specific weight it could carry. Allah, the one who molded your heart, knows what would bend it and what would break it. So sometimes, when He removes someone, it's not because you're unworthy, it's because you're too precious to be broken by what they were meant to carry. And this is divine protection. Not from visible harm, but from emotional erosion. The quiet mercy of divine detours. We often associate protection with shields and distance. But sometimes protection looks like pain. It looks like unanswered calls, like goodbyes with no explanations, like silence after prayers. But that silence, it's not abandonment, it's sacred instruction. It's Allah gently realigning your soul away from what you wanted, toward what you need. Because Allah doesn't just protect you from people. He protects you from timelines that would have drained you, from loves that begin like rain and end like floods, from people who feel like home but are actually temporary shelters. You thought they were your forever, but they were only your reminder of what it feels like to hope, to care, to dream. So that one day, when what's truly meant for you arrives, you'll recognize it not by intensity, but by peace. When silence replaces certainty. The hardest part isn't the goodbye. It's the silence that follows. The emptiness in the room where hope used to live. The ache of a heart still waiting, long after the world has moved on. It's waking up and realizing you have no answers, no updates, no closure, just silence. You replay everything in your head. Was it something I did? Did I ask for too much? Did I wait too long? You look up at the sky and whisper, "Why not now, Ya Allah?" But in that silence, there is a reply. Not in the form of a message or a sign or a dream, but in presence. A still, unseen nearness that wraps around your soul when everything else disappears. Because sometimes Allah doesn't give you the answers. He gives you Himself. And if that feels like too little, it's only because this world taught you that people are the prize. That love from others defines your worth. That being chosen by someone is what makes your story complete. But Allah never promised you a person. He promised you purpose. He promised that everything delayed is not denied. And that silence isn't absence. It's preparation. Because the greatest gift isn't the one you cry for in sujood, not even the one you imagine standing beside you in every dua. The greatest gift is alignment. Alignment with His wisdom when yours runs out. Alignment with His timing when your patience is thin. Alignment with His mercy when your heart is bruised but still beating. So if you're sitting in silence right now, don't rush to fill it. Don't try to escape it. Let it shape you. Let it soften you. Because that silence may just be the sound of your soul being pulled closer to the one who never leaves. Loss as a form of love alignment with Allah is beautiful, but it's also costly. It doesn't just require trust, it demands sacrifice, loneliness, confusion, and sometimes the kind of heartbreak that leaves you face down on the prayer mat asking, why? But isn't that where the real return begins? The same pain you thought would destroy you was actually the pain that delivered you back to the one who never left. This isn't rejection, it's redirection. It's not punishment, it's purification. You asked Allah for love, and He responded with loss. Not because He wanted you to suffer, but because He wanted you to come home. Because the love you needed was never in the one who left, never in the one who didn't stay, never in the hands you kept holding on to while your soul slipped away. The love you needed was always in Him, in His mercy, in His presence, in His perfect plan, even when it broke your heart. Sometimes the most loving thing Allah can do is remove the very thing you were convinced you couldn't live without. Because that removal, it creates space, space for growth, space for surrender, space for a love that doesn't come with confusion, inconsistency, or fear. And that's why some prayers go unanswered. Not because you didn't ask with sincerity, but because He was crafting a better answer. An answer that doesn't just land in your hands, but transforms your heart. So the next time you lose something, or someone, don't rush to call it a curse. Pause and ask, what if this is mercy in disguise? Because sometimes loss is the language of love. Not the kind that breaks you, but the kind that builds a bridge between your heart and the one who has always loved you the most. Sacred timing is still a blessing. Many people leave before you're ready, before the chapter feels complete, before the story makes sense. And in that sudden absence, you grieve not just them, but the unfinished, the unanswered, the unlived moments you thought were still ahead. But maybe they weren't. Delayed, maybe they were early, too early for the version of you that Allah is still shaping. Because what is written for you will arrive when your heart is ready to receive it. Not when you're tired of waiting, not when you're clinging in fear, and definitely not when you're begging from a place of desperation. Allah's gifts come wrapped in timing, not your timing, but His, sacred, wise, and deeply intentional. You don't get what you want the moment you want it. You get it when your soul is strong enough not to lose itself in the having, when your identity isn't built on who loves you, but on the one who created you. So let go of the timelines that rushed you. Let go of the people who paused you. Let go of the illusion that everything good must happen now or never. Because sacred things take sacred time, the kind of time that doesn't just bring you what you long for, but prepares you to protect it. That's why Allah makes you wait, not to punish you, not to hurt you, but to prepare you, to purify you, to align your heart with a plan that's so much deeper than what you can see. You may feel forgotten, but what if you're just being reserved, held back not because you're behind, but because what's ahead is heavy, and only a refined soul can carry it with grace. So trust this, sacred timing is still a blessing, even when it's silent, even when it's slow, even when it hurts. Don't just survive the silence, interpret it if you're still holding on. Let this be the moment you hold on to Allah even more, not because you have answers, but because you finally realize you don't need them to trust Him. Let this silence speak, not just as a void, but as a voice. A sacred space where illusions fall away, where attachments are tested, where your heart is purified of everything it tried to cling to more than its creator. Let this silence realign your dua, not toward a person, but toward a purpose, not toward the return of what left, but the arrival of what's meant. Because what if what you're missing was never yours to begin with? What if the thing you're begging for is too small compared to what Allah is preparing for you? Yes, it hurts, but maybe that hurt is healing. Maybe it's softening the parts of you that refuse to let go. Yes, it confuses you, but maybe that confusion is correction, a divine redirection towards something far greater. You weren't created to chase closure. You were created to chase Him. So don't just survive this silence. Interpret it. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it quiet every false narrative that told you your worth depended on someone choosing you. Let this be the chapter that didn't destroy you, but defined you. The moment you stopped waiting on someone to return and started returning to Allah. The moment the unanswered prayers no longer broke you, because you realized even silence is an answer. When it leads you back to the one who never stops listening, this isn't the end of your story. It's the refining of your soul. So walk through this silence, not with despair, but with dignity, not with fear, but with faith. Because even when you feel alone, Allah is drawing you closer. And that's not punishment. That's preparation. You are not forgotten. You are being recalled in times of silence. Shaitan whispers. He tells you that you're forgotten, that your dua was ignored, that Allah abandoned you. But Allah says in Surah Maryam, and your Lord is never forgetful. Quran 1964. You are not forgotten. You are being recalled to your purpose, recalled to your Creator, recalled to the kind of strength that can only be built in solitude. So if the person you wanted walked away, if the dream you chased slipped through your fingers, trust this, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Back to the one who never left, the one who loved you first, and most, and forever, the one who knows your soul. Sometimes, someone will cry for you without knowing your name, and other times, someone will know your name, but never truly see your soul. But Allah, He sees your soul before you speak. He understands your heartbreak before you explain it. He crafts a future for you before you even know what to ask for. So don't settle for anyone who doesn't come through Him, and don't chase anything that requires you to leave Him, because what is truly yours will arrive in a way that honors both your heart and your Lord. Let go, but let Allah hold you. This isn't about pretending you're okay. This is about realizing that even in your breaking, there's a blessing, that the unanswered prayer was still an answered protection, that the silence was a sacred pause, to realign your soul to something far more eternal. So let go. Let go of the idea that you've been forgotten. Let go of the person who was never meant to stay. Let go of the version of love that made you. Question your worth, because Allah is not keeping something from you. He's keeping something for you, something greater, something gentler, something destined, something that will not make you doubt your value, but will reflect it. Final words. Walk toward Him. You are not waiting in vain. You are being written into something sacred. So walk, even through the silence, even through the ache, even through the unknown. Walk toward Him, because you are not being punished. You are being positioned, not to a person, not to a past, but to the one who loved you first, and most, and forever, Allah.